before I forget, because I will, most likely. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. And we're good. All right. How's everybody doing? We gotta figure out what to do next. What's the next piece of the puzzle? The piece of the pie. The next piece of the pie. We could maybe get started on the vent overheating maintenance task. This could be a good one. That could be a good one to do. Yeah. Yes. Although I don't know if that I need to figure out some tasks that add to the overall game. It's an earlier stream, or did I just wake up late today? I guess it's earlier than yesterday, because I started at what time? At 2 yesterday? Oh, crowd, how's it going? I wouldn't say really early. This is like a normal stream time for me. So, what is like obviously monsters are a big part of what we need for the core gameplay loop. We need to work on character expressions. That's going to be massive. We haven't done any of that yet. In fact, we're still using like default UE mannequin walk animations and stuff, which honestly look fine, but we do need to add a little bit of flair to the character models. Yeah, dude, I don't know. The game is weird because the way it's designed... I think... Man, I don't know. We should probably make it so certain maintenance tasks start affecting... starts affecting the speed of the train. Probably pretty important. I think this game needs more game. That's my problem right now. But... how do we make it feel like more game without trying to, like, throw shit into it, you know? Oh, here's like 5 new mechanics just for the sake of adding new mechanics. You know what I mean? Like, it's gotta fit in. Does it even need additional stuff? That's another question I consider. I think the problem is... okay. A lot of things to think about. Is there a fail state? Like what happens if the player just did nothing? That's the thing. If you just let the fuel run out and whatnot, there is not a fail state. At least yet. There was ideas for what a fail state could look like. I do think one of the factors that I think is the most missing, which is the most important, which I've been kind of delaying the most, is the monsters. I really do think the monsters are going to add the most impact to the game. But I don't know if it'll be enough. Obviously, the other fail state is if all the players die. So if all the players die, then of course, you know, that would be one of the fail states. But we also have to clear... Technically, we do clear all the maintenance tasks, but I don't think they clear themselves. So I do have to fix that a bit. Yes. Because when we think about a game like Lethal Company, for example, I feel like most of the gameplay revolves around looting items, some of the items' interactions, and then monsters, and then interactions with the monsters, with other players as well. We do need to put death in the game. Right now, if you run out of health, nothing happens. You basically don't die. So I do need to do that as well. Do I have that on the list? Oh, player death. That's pretty important. Yeah, that's pretty important. It's pretty important. Have we slopped it up sufficiently? We're sort of slopping. We're midway slopping. The company has the deadline/quota mechanic, which gives the players a reason to play the game. Right. Our idea would be keeping the speed of the train up. But I'm starting to think, and I know I talked about this a few days ago. I'm starting to think instead of a timer-based system that's like over time to get to the station. I feel like it might be better. I don't know if I want to do the quota system, but I understand why it works versus a timer. But then the problem becomes if we have an item quota to put enough fuel into the thing. I don't know. That does change the mechanics of how the train works quite a bit. Currently implementing DLSS 6 in my game? Hell yeah. That's where the goods are. The reason why we do time-based is so the maintenance tasks can kind of kick in and whatnot, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to, we may have to rethink how we do the route stuff. That could be the key to how this all kind of functions. Like, of course, you have to feed items to the engine. But you know what I think the problem is? That there's not enough immediate, like, reaction to you feeding stuff to the engine. What do you think a DLSS 5 would do a game like Cuphead? I don't know, make it look fucking ugly and super brightened. Yeah, I'm starting to think maybe the problem is this. Is the route. So my thought process is we could always just, instead of a route to the station being timer based, we could just do like a fuel quota, and then that could be the difference. What's the point of the game? What's the gameplay loop? You basically go around the train, pick up items, fuel the train using items, and then also repair parts of the train while staying alive from monsters who are the passengers on board. A lot of rebalance to do if you do a quota style systems. Players could just ignore tasks and fuel the train to win. That's what I'm thinking, Link. That would be the problem. So we would almost need players to go throughout the entire train. Now, of course, you could also consider the factor that maybe we balance it in such a way where players can be quick to just fuel up the train, and then they don't have extra items to sell. And then if we do a system where we reward players for doing maintenance tasks, then they would also not receive those rewards. So that could be a factor as well. If we end up making it so if you complete a maintenance task, you get rewarded for it. You're Bane. And then of course, over time, as time goes on, the monsters can become more aggressive, etc, etc, etc. We would definitely have to rebalance quite a bit. But if it makes the game more fun, then I don't see why not. We'll keep this for now. We could keep this for now. But I do think it's something to consider. Once you reach the station, you get bonus money depending on how many tasks you did. We could definitely do that. I kind of want to do an immediate reward for completing tasks, because then you have there's an immediate reaction to completing something. It doesn't have to be like a dopamine reaction thing, but it's enough to give feedback that you completed a task or whatnot. Or not completed a task, completed like a maintenance thing. What's wrong in the engine? Oh, this thing. Plus 25 XP, exactly. How am I networking grabbing physics objects smoothly? I'm using a plugin called SmoothSync. However, that being said, I'm sure I'm going to run into some networking performance issues at a future date. I read up, there's a thing called network managers that might be quite helpful. We'll see how we do in some stuff. I also had to cut like 40% of my gameplay loop design. It's the most painful part of the game development, having to cut content. The thing for me is we're not necessarily cutting content. Like anything I create is still going to be there, right? All of the stuff in our list is still complemented within the core loop. It's just the way the train, the way that you're moving forward through the routes could be a little bit different. You just advanced a level in your train route battle pass. It's so fucking... That is horrible. You could have a boiler temperature system. You could blow up the boiler if you overfuel it. I was thinking of doing this as a thing where you could optimize the speed of the train even more by like turning these dials over time. But I feel like we get into some super... micromanaging territory, which we could lean into that. we could almost treat this like FNAF, but with a little bit more open worldy, well, not open worldy, but you know, being able to go through the trains and stuff like that. But maybe most of the gameplay might occur in the engine car. Like that could always maybe become the design in some way, where a lot of the gameplay is more so at the engine car, which it does end up happening anyways, because you have to bring all your items to the front, which kind of sucks. Shower. Yeah, anyways. Things to think about. Right now, the nice thing is everything that we're putting in, I think, will add to the fun and variety of the game. I think it's more on the basis of the overall goal will potentially shift a little bit. And that's about it. That being said, if we do the quota system, then the fuel capacity... The speed of the train and the fuel, that will probably all change because of the quota system, I guess. Yeah, that will probably all be shifted a little bit. But at the end of the day, we're still doing the same thing. How do I transition between scenes? Do I just show players unload, or do they remain in the world all the time? They are in the same world. We're just doing level streaming. So the station is just streaming the level in. I do have to make the gameplay level a separate sub-level. Because you can sort of still see some of that stuff, which is honestly unnecessary. So we're just doing level streaming. So the train stays the same. This is always staying the same, so then that way any items that you have that you've grabbed will stay in here. They'll be persistent and whatnot throughout the run. Everything outside of this, like in the other train cars, those end up being deleted. So if you're not in the main engine car when a transition occurs to the station, you basically lose all your items and get teleported here. So it's kind of like a soft death, sort of. Yeah, I think this could do... I honestly think the whole route could do with some improving from a game design standpoint. I'm going to leave it as is for now, because I think it'd be good to get a feel for how people see it from a playtesting standpoint. I don't want to doubt it too much right now, because obviously we haven't done like full-on proper multiplayer gameplay testing, because there's still... This feels so weird, because there's still so many factors needed before... it's like a fully fledged game with like the monsters and stuff. Honestly, once we put the monsters in, we could probably start playtesting. It's just I do want like a minimum amount of like, content in, like the station, buying and selling items, stuff like that. Yeah, but the collision here is all kinds of fucked up. I get like stuck somewhere. The player respawns, they should spawn locked inside one of those cases and they have to jump to damage it to open it up. What the hell? Do I have a list of the different types of rooms I want to do? I'm just going to rewrite what I have above. I had to... you reminded me about the idea of having a prison car, where if you get caught by a police officer type of monster, then you get put into the prison. And then you gotta break out. Okay. Yeah. I think as things evolve, the pieces will align a bit more. and then I'll have a much clearer picture of how I want to approach the overall goal. Isn't your first playtest going to be without monsters? I think there will still be some monsters. Like if we end up, like we'll have the bomb guy, and then ideally I would like to put in a few more if we can make them like that aren't too difficult with like really difficult behaviors. You know what I mean? I do feel like they're a really integral part to the game. You know what I mean? I feel like they are an integral part of the game. You need a voice line on the cop monster. Stop right there, criminal scum. The thing is, the characters aren't going to say words for the most part. They're going to be like... I don't know how... Like sounds. They're going to be like... Like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Grim always says, you know what I mean, but I never know what he means. Guys, come on, man. Guys, come on, man. Come on. Come on, man. You gotta get what I mean. You know what I mean? Where the fuck I am? I think right now, my biggest thing... Is it crazy to think that by having more cars, we can make the gameplay more interesting? Is that a weird thought? By having more cars, more variety... Obviously we need more monsters, but I feel like having more cars will add quite a bit. And more interesting cars. Like this one needs to be fleshed out. You know what I mean? Maybe some more interactions. Okay, so let's see. There's an item there. There's an item there. There's a guy there. Okay, I guess it was that one time. I do think shit's falling through the world, though. See, like right here, look, this fucking piece of coal is right... I need to fix the item spawning system. Because... it spawns at the actor base rather than in the open space. Should be a car with fishes in it, like an aquarium car.
Shit my pants, I did.
The water level, it just immediately plays Donkey Kong Country Aquatic Ambience. Mayor, thank you for the Bezos bucks. Hey, thank you. Thank you for the prime. Appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to rethink the overall flow with like the quota and the timer and stuff like that. I do think I think that might be a big piece of the design that I think is flawed currently. I think that's one of the potential flaws. All these cars seem like special cars. There needs to be some normal cars. The apartment is kind of like a normal car, and I'd say the cargo is kind of a normal car, sort of. But all the cars are going to be kind of normal. I don't really know how else to do. Don't really know how else I could. They're all going to be somewhat special in their own ways. Cool. Yeah, right now my problem is feeding items to the engine does not feel... Not that it needs to feel rewarding, but I do feel like it needs to represent progress more. Does that make sense? Rather than it being on a timer. I feel like it being on a timer feels less satisfying, I think, is the problem. Like, you don't have... It doesn't feel like you're having a direct impact to the route. Even though you are. You are having an impact because by fueling this up, you're obviously keeping the train going, which then allows you to reach the end. However, it just doesn't feel like we're contributing. Which is problematic, of course. This might have to change. I think this in the engine car might have to change. Yeah, like a fuel needed for the journey. Yeah, exactly. Now, how do we do the train speed then? Do we keep the train speed going? Is the train speed only impacted by the maintenance tasks that are on the train? And so maybe a bunch of existing maintenance tasks makes it so your fuel requirement goes up. So if you keep it down, then it keeps that value down. I don't know. No, Hellcat, we're not putting a fishing minigame in. Kappa, thank you for the raid. Thank you, thank you. Hope you had a good stream. Thank you. Aren't you? We're talking about the overall game design of our train game. Our train friendslop. I was exploding, actually, but it's all good. Excuse me? You were what now? Yeah, I do think... Here's the rework that we can aim towards. Here's the rework. Let me write this down. Let me write this down. Potential rework for the overall train goal. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Okay. Instead of a timer for the route, players are given a current fuel quota. I hate saying quota, but that's how we'll kind of do this now. Fuel quota goes up as more maintenance tasks appear. The quota will decrease back to normal when players repair the tasks. Did I add the divine bomb yet? We have the bomb guy who blows up when you get close to him or run by him. But that's about it. Hey, Phoenix, how are you doing? I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Instead of a timer for the route, players are given a current fuel quota. Fuel quota goes up as more maintenance tasks appear. The quota will decrease back to normal when players repair the tasks. Feeding the engine will feed the quota. The only thing I don't like about this is it feels very samey to the other games. You know what I mean? But it works for a reason. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Is that exploding guy essentially malfunctioning Eddie from Futurama? I never watched Futurama, so I wouldn't know. Like Peak's health bars, you can easily see what's causing the quota to go up or down. That would be cool. That would definitely be very cool. I guess we'd view it as like, you have to minus out the bar then? I was thinking as you complete things, it increases the bar. But I guess we could always look at it in a different way. Instead of a timer for the route, players are given a current fuel quota. Fuel quota goes up as more maintenance tasks appear. The quota will decrease back to normal when players repair the tasks. Will the fuel capacity stay the same? That could be confusing if you have two fuel bars. I would probably completely remove the fuel capacity. The speed of the train, so let's write this down. The speed of the train is just a visual indicator of the overall health based on maintenance tasks. So the speed of the train would no longer be affected by the fuel. It would just 100% be what is the current health of the train. I guess it would just add to the end of the bar when a maintenance task starts and disappears after it finishes. Yeah, I could see that. Malfunctioning Eddie from Futurama. Let me see. 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 Help. Okay. Is the glass gonna fucking explode? Nope, it's just, okay. Why is it taking so long to load? I don't know what happened. I think since I changed up my computer, a bunch of shit went weird, and I haven't fully reinstalled my Windows, so, yeah. Okay, so, do I have ad block? Oh, is that what it is? Oh. Instead of a timer for the route, players are given a current fuel quota. So that would appear on the thing at the top here. That would be our fuel quota. Fuel quota goes up as more maintenance tasks appear. The quota will decrease back to normal and players repair the tasks. I guess I'll call it total fuel quota. Players repair the tasks. Feeding the engine will feed the quota, the current quota. Speed of the train is just a visual indicator of the overall health based on maintenance tasks. Okay. I think I like this a bit more. Now, we would probably completely delete the fuel capacity. This, I think, entire thing here would probably be removed. I just, it doesn't make sense. Unless maybe instead of fuel capacity, we turn this into like boost or something. But then that doesn't make any sense. The item boosts no longer become a thing because... Yeah, I think we just delete that this entire console, this entire like thing. I think we just delete it because I don't think it holds any value anymore. I'm going to use the CNV to change the header camera. FOV does FOV auto switch back to default when letting go of those buttons. If you hold right click to look around, you C and then Z. C and Z, not V. C and Z. Once you let go of right click, it resets back to normal. And yeah, there's a limit to how far in and out you can zoom. Yeah, I guess we would just delete the fuel capacity if we end up doing this. We'd probably just delete that because it just wouldn't make sense for it to be there, right? Unless we replace it with something else, like a different value or whatever. Instead of a timer for the route, players are given a fuel quota. Total fuel quota goes up as more maintenance tasks appear. The quota will decrease back to normal when players repay the task. So that makes it so the maintenance tasks, at least the ones that affect the train, that makes it so the players have to complete them, right? They can't just dodge them altogether and whatnot, right? So it still keeps that requirement of completing the tasks. Or maybe you don't complete some of them and you just add more fuel to the train. Maybe you don't want to go out there and die or something. You know what I mean? That could be the consideration there, right? And then we'd still keep some of the tasks, like the window cleaning. That's more for adding money and or making the monsters more aggressive. I think that still works. I feel like that works better. My only concern with it is, like I said, even though it works and it makes sense because all of the games kind of do a similar thing, we kind of lean into the whole quota world kind of thing. Do you need to keep feeding the train before it runs out, or you simply feed it as a progression? Okay, so that's basically the current version of the game is the fuel slowly goes down and the train speed slows down. And then there's a timer that just goes up based off of the speed of the train. That's the latter, which is keep feeding the train. And then this second version, which would be our big rework, is instead of a timer, you just feed the train up till a quota, and then you can choose to move, basically proceed to the station by doing that. Why would the train slow down the less fuel it has? That's our just current system. We'll probably, I have a thing here for the speed where it's like the thing that mostly affects it would be the maintenance tasks, but I think in this version, we would just make it so only the maintenance tasks affect the speed. But the speed would be more of a visual indication of how the train is doing. What does the V key do? It does nothing for me? I don't think V does anything, no. I do like the sound of this rework a lot more, I gotta say. I think this does sound a lot more appealing in terms of game design. It's just the fact that it's just the same thing as all the other fucking games, and I kind of hate that. I kind of dislike that, but it does sound like it would fit a lot more. Man. Just mask it, change it a bit, and don't call it a quota. Yeah, I guess we could call it something different. But it would still basically be the same thing at the end of the day. We would just call it something different. Hmm. Just a simple coincidence. Yeah. Simple coincidence, huh? Yeah, of course. The nice thing with this is that even though maintenance tasks will appear over time, and they like, you know, a bunch of them will appear, it does give more control to the players in terms of how they can play the game, right? You know what I mean? It does give a bit more control to the players how long they can stay in a train and whatever, instead of them, instead of it all being a timer. I feel like the timer is just not it. I just don't think the timer is it. I think that's my quarrel right now. It's my big quarrel. Okay. So, on that note then, let's delete this task. We're going to archive that. We are going to... What else is there to archive that is related to the old system? Special coal needs a parameter to speed up the train temporarily. Maybe a system that can be reused across all items. Special coal needs a parameter to speed up the train temporarily. This, I think we would change entirely. Because we wouldn't be speeding up the train anymore. Yeah, this would be a pretty big rework, but I think it would actually be a much better rework. I think it would be a very good, substantial rework that would make things feel better. I don't know. That's my feeling on it. That's my feeling on it. I think it will be a lot better doing it like that. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. We would have to completely redesign this, though. Yeah, we'd have to redesign this, I think. Red pixel. Okay. I do think I like this a lot more, though. Let's add a task for it in our to-do. The fuel rework. Quota rework. Let's just copy paste this in the description. Save that. Labels, core gameplay loop. Pretty important. We're going to put that at the top. Everything else still applies. However, this I think will be a pretty big rework that I think should make things a lot better. I think. Now, could we, in theory, somehow fit the fuel capacity into this system at all? Like, I don't think so, right? Like, I don't think there's any place for a fuel capacity being into a quota system. Like, I guess there's one way we could think of it. One way we could think of it is when you're feeding items to the train, you can't go over this value or else you lose some of that capacity. But then that basically forces the players into a timer. If that makes sense. That essentially forces them into a timer, which might not be cool. That just doesn't make any sense. It's like you feed a bunch of shit, and then you gotta wait for this to kind of lower down. Like, I don't know if I like that idea. So I feel like this would we just delete this. because everything would be on the main thing at the top there. Unless we keep this as the fuel goal that goes down with each thing that you add to it, and then that is like the actual goal with like all of the maintenance tasks involved and stuff. I don't know. I think we would just delete this. Honestly, I think we just delete it. It does kind of feel out of place. There's all this mechanical stuff, and then all of a sudden the panel kind of thing. I feel like that should be exclusively for this front area. And then this we can just remove. Like, I don't think there's, like, it looks cool, don't get me wrong, it looks cool, it's just, I don't think it's gonna add anything. Unless we have, like, some more mechanics that end up appearing in the game. Huh? Oh, look at that, there's rats. Yeah. You could make the route thing the quota bar so you don't have to make new art for it. That is going to be the quota bar. So that's going to be all adjusted, most likely. This, I think we just delete. I just don't think there's any use for this. Like, no. There's an idea for a mechanic where... but I think this would be, like, in the higher difficulties. So as you play the game, kind of like in Peak, you can, like, unlock higher difficulties for the game. That's my guy. That's my guy right there. One of the mechanics is like the idea of like an overall train health. I think instead of it being put here, we'd probably put it at the front of the train. Like it would probably just be at the front of the train, to be honest. I don't think it makes any sense for it to be here. You know, oh, you know what we... but then we could just put that somewhere else. We could put the speed of the train right here. The speed of the train could be right here, actually. Yes. Because the speed of the train indicates if you have any tasks that you need to complete. Although, that will probably show you as well, but then this will also show certain things. And then that way you can kind of tell how much of your fuel is... Well, you're still going to keep all the fuel, but that could... Yeah. Train speed could be right here. Yeah, that could be the train speed. You know what could also be kind of cool? A second bar right here. Are we overdoing it now? Efficiency. How efficient the fuel is. And then we could have like little mini games in the engine, which is what we have here, of how efficient when you put fuel in, like how efficient it's going to add to the quota. Would that be too much, or is that like, you know, like that sounds like a cool little thing where it's like this like kind of goes up and down, you got to like manage some of the knobs and shit. Maybe this you turn a little bit and sometimes. Then that would actually make it so this actually has a mechanical element to it. Okay, well, you know, we got some ideas of how we could adjust this to make it feel more gamified, which I think is good, rather than the timer. The timer is just not it. I think that's my current problem with the game right now is the timer. That whole thing. Yep. Okay. Good. I think that's going to be a good rework. I think so. Methinks. Yes. Yeah, I think that will be a good rework. Possibly. Creep that scope? No, I don't know if I would say this is scope creep. This is more so make game good. You know, like let's not get it twisted, okay? Let's not get make game good and scope creep Let's not get confused with the two. Still want the concern of the train stopping because of fuel to be a thing for players? Well, the train stopping, if the train stops completely, that means you've completely neglected a bunch of maintenance tasks. So that would be the thing for that. The thing I would do for the efficiency of the fuel would just be like a little mini game at the generator or inside of the engine car, and you can kind of min-max it a little bit to make fuel even more impactful towards the quota, I guess. It might be a bit of the one concern I have with that is that might be a bit of a just too much information. Like there's too much there, but we can fuck with it a little bit. Yeah. Did you hear NVIDIA's bringing back the 3060? Why would they do that? Should probably work on that soon, so it'll take a minute to do. For sure, for sure. That's probably going to be on like my priority list before the playtest, I think. Because I think I'd rather people playtest with this than our current version, because the current version is kind of whatever. Or maybe I do playtest with this, kind of get a feel for how people are feeling about it while I work on the rework for it. You're bringing it back because those use older Samsung VRAM. What a world we live in, huh? What a world we live in. Can't wait to play this with DLSS 5. Peak, did you see the tweet? Did you see the tweet of what this shit looks like with... Well, it's a Gen AI fucking garbage thingy, but I think it's just funny what it would actually do. This one. Why does it make everything look so bright, and then it also makes it look like shit? Like what's going, like why the whole space looks like ass? Maybe that's what we need to do. Make the whole space look like ass. Maybe that's the secret sauce. Maybe we just make everything look like leaks and shit everywhere. Make it look poopy. Who did that? There's someone made like a thing where you can upload things to it and see what it looks like. I also tried with I don't know if I still have those images anymore. What it would look like with Suit for Hire, and it doesn't look good, man. It just does not look good. Well, there was this catastrophe, whatever, this fucking, oh god. Oh god, but then look at this. Look at this. What the hell happened, bro? Why does it look like all the enemies are clay? What happened to my leg? I really don't think this shit is going to end well. I genuinely, I am actually 100% believing it's shareholder bait, and I don't think this tech is going anywhere. Now, obviously, this is not actual DLSS 5, but I actually feel like, while this is a joke, I do feel like it is actually probably pretty accurate to what the effect is actually going to end up being. Like, I know this is probably just some random Gen AI thing. I don't know what it is, but I actually think this is probably what DLSS 5 is probably going to end up being like. At the moment, this only runs on two 5080s, one running the game and the other running the Gen AI. And it's so funny because the clips they showed, you can tell there's an FPS difference. So I don't know. I genuinely think it was, yeah, just to make the bubble, just keep the bubble up for a little bit longer so they can rob fucking money from the government and all these other things. It's yeah. So many trees gone, acres upon acres. I love the clip in which an NPC in Skyrim blinks, but the filter doesn't get it and maps a whole new set of eyes on top of the eyelids. It's just such an out of touch fucking thing. I dumped my brain on it the other day. It's an optional tech if you bought the hardware. NVIDIA's just selling AI tools. It's still garbage. Like, even if it is optional, it's still shit. It's still shit. It doesn't just suddenly remove how shit it is. Feels like a you guys all got phones, right moment. I just find it so funny that Jensen, the fucking CEO, dumbass CEO, you guys are completely wrong. You guys got it wrong. You guys got it so wrong. Anyways, let's get to work. Let's do some work. Okay, quota rework I'm very confident in, I would say. I'm quite confident in the direction that that will go in, which I think will make things feel a lot better. I think. Yeah. Yeah. I don't get how any of this is better looking than IE Sniper Elite 5. Bro, peak visuals, in my opinion. And it's crazy because it's a VR game. Is, of course, from Valve, Half-Life Alyx. And then, of course, other peak visuals are like very handmade art, like Hollow Knight or another game I can think of is Animal Well. Super pretty fucking game. Noita. At the end of the day, the prettiest games comes from fucking people making it, not not fucking garbage AI. Gen AI, I should say. Stylized art graphics beats photorealism for me anyways. I think the thing that I really like about Valve is they don't try to go for photorealism, I feel like. I feel like they actually tried to go for a different... I feel like they have their own art style. You can tell like they have a style that like is... No one has been able to like... Except for, I guess, Dishonored. I feel like Dishonored was pretty close to like looking like Valve, but they did their own thing, and Dishonored's style is also really great. Yeah, I just think it's investor bait. A huge investor bait. DLSS 5 is not for every game, just bad looking AA titles that can use AI to improve their look. But like, why? But like, why? Like, let's ask that question real quick. Why? Why use that tech when it clearly has a performance hit, requires crazy hardware currently, requires 2 GPUs? Why? Like, why bother? Even if it was to improve, even if it was to somehow be able to run on older GPUs, what's the point? Like, let's beg the question. Think of the shareholders, Krim. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's literally shareholder bait. It's literally just stock market bait. DLSS 5 was shown early to just stop the bubble from popping. I 100% agree with that, Juan. That's what my it's literally just life support. Now they're just fucking trying to life support this like big chill. That's how I see it. Like, what's the point? I understand what the point is of older DLSS. It makes sense, like the current gen DLSS. I get the point of that. At least that I get the point of, right? But this, it just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense at all. I can see it more for refreshing much older games if it wasn't something you have to integrate up front. Every Gen AI tool is just that, just a solution waiting for a problem. I can understand some other Gen AI. It's like you want to cut costs on like concept art and other shit, even though in reality, concept art is meant to come up with a unique element or a unique thing for your design. Otherwise, you might as well just fucking Google everything, honestly. That's my opinion. I guess Google has been... The thing is, if Google pre-AI was fine to use, now everything's fucking slopified. It's actually spammed. So it's like... I don't know. I don't get the point. The guys making Gen AI have no idea what art direction is. They look at a, like, I don't know. I personally believe it's all a psyop, all these Twitter users trying to do Gen AI, because it genuinely just feels like rage bait. Like, it actually just genuinely feels like rage bait, just to get some clicks. Like, I don't think they're real people. Yes, I am saying that in a derogatory way. I don't think they're real people. Like this guy. Goodbye. Oh, shit! It's okay, Rubber Ducky. I've got you. Yeah, I don't think they're real people at all. Okay, our temp monster is in the floor. Okay. There's rats in this train. That one killed him. Oh, I'm so sorry. That one just jumped off the train. Hey! Hey, get back here! Huh! I got him. You're coming with me, pal. Cook him. My partner is modeling a gas stovetop. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Oh yeah. Dinner will be ready soon enough. And I am ready. I feel like my takes aren't welcome. What do you mean, Phoenix? People have no idea what a good picture is? Well, remember this. A lot of people run their TV on default settings that has like that horrendous fucking shit on it that makes everything look horrendous. And they don't even know that it's there. So, yeah. 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 Did I get a girl into modeling, or was that a joke? The goal is to hopefully make it so she can quit her job and then just work with me full-time. There's rats in my car. There's rats in the train car. So one of the things I've been teaching her, and she's been kind of learning, is Blender and 3D modeling. She's now also learning Substance Painter, so she's learning a bit of that as well now. She modeled and textured this, the rubber ducky. Obviously, I've been helping her, you know, along the way, teaching her things and whatnot, because she's not going to be able to just figure it out on her own. She also modeled and textured this. Or well, I textured it. but I helped her alongside and kind of led her through the process and whatnot. But she modeled most of it. What else? She made the trombone. Oh, she made this actually as well. She modeled this. The air horn. The one thing that she didn't get a lot of help on, so she did a lot of it herself, was the trombone. I helped lead her through like how bridge edge loops could work to make curves and stuff, but most of it generally is, let me see if I can find one. See if we can find a trombone around here. Aha! So she made this. Yeah, we got a trombone now. Blow it? I don't have it yet. We can't blow it yet. We will soon though. Can you play the trombone? You will be able to. You'll be able to like the higher up you look, the lower you look, it's a different pitch and whatever. That's how I'm planning to make it. And then I also want to make it so if you blow for too long, your character goes unconscious. And then you drop the trombone. Kind of like you just ran out of air. I feel like that'd be huh? I feel like that'd be funny. The tunnel sound gives me London Metro flashbacks every time. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What? Our character's color would be awesome. The more air you run out, the more purple the character gets. Yes, I do want to do that. I do want to do that. I want to make it so it's like his head goes like, starts turning red. Maybe his eyes start going, ah! I feel like that'd be just so funny. You know what I mean? And he's minus 10 damage when the slide catches your finger. I have no clue if we're going to actually make it slide up and down or if the buttons are going to be pressed properly. What I'm curious is the 3 triggers, right? See, I've never played trumpet or a brass instrument. Well, I guess, is a flute? No, I wouldn't say a flute is brass instrument. That's a wind instrument, whatever. Anyways, what do the 3 buttons do? Are they different pitches? Because the slide, unless the slide is like a vibrato or like a whammy bar on a guitar, and that's how it functions. How does that all work? Because I feel like it would be better just make it simple. The pitch is just higher or lower depending on how high up and how low you look, right? But it could be interesting to actually put a little bit more functionality to it. To be more true to the original instrument. It's safe to remove the 3 triggers. 99.9% of trombones don't even have buttons. What? What? Wait, really? That's fucking funny. Wait, what? Why are the buttons there? What do the buttons do? Or are they like... Are they just a different pitch? Huh. Interesting. I'll just leave it there just because that's how the model is and... You know, whatever. If anything, it just makes it funnier. It's like just not even being fucking used. What we could do is we could make the buttons... What we could do is make the buttons references, pitch references. You know what I mean? We could make them pitch references. That could be kind of interesting. So if you're really trying to do like a song, we could make it so the buttons go up and down based off of like where you're at. Because you don't see the slide in this view, right? You literally can't see this. Also, it's in my nose. It's in my character's nose. Maybe we should make it so the client side sees something a little differently. Erm. Well, might have to change that. Anyways, blowing air instruments from the nose should be a feature, to be honest. I was literally thinking if you hold left click to blow on to play the sound, if you try to talk while you're blowing, it should make your like voice fucked up sounding. It should make your voice really fucked up sounding. I feel like it'd be great. Dude, I'm really excited to do the there's rats in my damn train. Fed to the engine. We gotta make these rats... Okay, well, this guy just spawns on the ground. You need to stop doing that, man. Could play it out of the box? That's fucking funny. So you almost use the... So you only really use the slide as literally like a vibrato then, at that point. Kind of like a whammy bar on a guitar. You know, Minoy, you're barely getting the train cars to spawn in. You made a ton of progress. It's slowly getting there. I don't think trombones with buttons use the slide, aka I'm pretty sure. That's fucking stupid. What the hell? So why not just make it to a trumpet then? I guess maybe a trombone has a slightly deeper noise versus a trumpet? I don't know. Because it sounds like a trombone. I'm getting real fucking mad. I don't know. Did we complete the rat infestation task? We did. Rat task complete. Is this still red? Why is it still red? Oh, the gear is broken. We've completely come to a halt, by the way. We're literally not moving at all. Is it heavy to make neon signs emissive? Heavy in what sense? Like heavy on performance? An environmental light source mainly. If you're using lumen, I don't know. Emissions should only be used for like small detail light sources. You should be using like point lights and cone lights and whatever instead. Not cone light. What am I? Not directional light. That's a different... Oh, great. Okay, thank you, Unreal. Fuck you too, I guess. The other one, the directional light. But not directional light, because that's the sun. I mean the other light, the cone light, whatever. You know what I mean. Spotlight, thank you. You should use spotlights for actual... The scene is supposed to, but it's at nighttime. I don't know what the cost is. As far as I know... Yeah, I don't know what the cost is for lumen. I don't use lumen, so... I don't really know. I don't really know. Today has been a big talking day, a yapping day. But I'm glad that we yapped about the quota system, because I think this will be quite the improvement. is going to take place at nighttime. In my game, it will be daytime and nighttime. The vent overheating maintenance task. We also got to get a settings menu in, the employee handbook interaction, the main menu. Well, we kind of have, I think, enough of a main menu that I'm not too worried about it. We do need the first initial station to get into the game. We also need to work on the front train engine panels. Tomorrow's Mega Grant deadline if you want to submit your game. The thing is, I don't really need a Mega Grant. Because I feel like the game's not there yet. I don't know. How long do you think a solo dev should spend making a single game? All games are different, but how long is too long? I think that is extremely subjective, and I really don't like giving people static timelines, which is something that a lot of people do in the game development space. Everyone's going to have a completely different situation in their life that requires a different timeline. And I don't think there's a, like, this is the answer kind of thing. Technically, Suit for Hire took me way longer than it should have, 4 to 5 years, but I went full time. So it's like, yes, I did have to do contract work in the meantime during those 4 to 5 years as we were in early access, but like, I went full time because of the success that the game has brought in. Which, by the way, Suit for Hire is 50% off for the spring sale. Hey, whoa! And also, I partnered up with the developer of Jackal to make a bundle, which is cool. Never did that before. Never made a bundle before, so that's very cool. And it's very cool that the developer of Jackal, which I thought looked super fucking cool, even contacted me to begin with. Sorry, can't buy it. I already own it. Well, that's a shame. That's a shame. But yeah, to answer your question, here's my opinion. It heavily depends on your situation, right? It heavily depends on your situation, I would say. Hold on, I'll expand on that. Is the entire game already planned in the Trello board, or do you add stuff daily? I still add stuff, so this is like by no means the final game. There's still stuff I need to add in here. Maybe a few things I need to delete as well. But yeah. How much time it should take for a single game? Depends a lot on your scope creep skills also. I would actually change up that question, and I would be more like, have a good concept for a game, a good idea, a good vision for how the game would play. Work towards a proof of concept, and then get people to play test it, and then determine future steps. And the other thing I would say is have pillars for the design, have an overall goal or intention, which is like, for us, it's what's the kind of overall thing? Reach the final station in one piece with your coworkers on a mysterious train. But additionally, the game is like, you are a train operator. You are a employee on a mysterious train that has to keep the train running and also surviving. I'm sure I could word that differently and much better, but yeah, you know what I mean. So by having a good pillar are good pillars, and then sticking to those pillars, then your scope, and when you think of ideas, should reflect those, just that overall vision. If it doesn't reflect the overall vision, just put it in your ideas document. I usually like think of things in like two different ways. You have your actionable document, which is you actually working on the game, and then just keep your ideas in a spot or something. Keep your like ideas in a spot. But you always consider how long does a new idea take, and does it add to the overall game? Would it take you more time than the amount of like actual return it would give? That's another thing to consider as well. Another thing I would say is solo devs or indie developers in general, you're probably going to do things in a much different way than a AAA studio would. That means like you might sometimes dedicate time, in my opinion, this is a good way of doing things. You might sometimes dedicate time to a feature or a little mechanic or thing in your game that might not necessarily add to the big picture, but it does allow you to market it, show it off. If it just looks fucking cool, it's still in the game, right? Sometimes you do divert a little bit. That's what I would recommend sometimes. And that just means you're going to be doing things very differently than how other studios do things. So yeah, that's what I think. I think my biggest advice is stop listening to other people, including myself, and just get in there and just throw yourself in there. Just throw yourself in there and get sucked in, you know, get sucked in and just enjoy the process. Because there's too many fucking gurus in the space. Everybody wants to be a guru and get like 5K likes on fucking Twitter. Who cares? Who cares? Oh, you should work on a really small game that takes you 2 weeks to develop. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Throw yourself in and get sucked. Got it. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Sucked in and sucked off. Am I right? First time chatter. This motherfucker, man. I'm telling you. Honestly, the first time chatters have been getting more unhinged, and honestly, I'm all for it. I'm so for it. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Grim said the right path is to create your own GTA 6. Take notes, people. First time chatter. Do we not have a first time chatter emote? That's crazy. No wonder my stream is dead. First time Chad. First time chatter. I got him. We're in. Wait. Wait, what? Wait, what? I can't add it to my... What? Hold on, I can't... Wait, I gotta refresh 7TV, I think. It's just... Oh. When will push-ups become available again? Guys, I've been working out and exercising a little bit. I started yesterday to try to get my body in shape again, because I definitely don't want to do push-ups on stream again and then suddenly my back hurts again. So hopefully soon. But yeah, I think what I learned about the game development space is it's extremely accessible and open. Therefore, there's going to be a lot of people who will act like they know a lot of things. Myself included. Well, no, I wouldn't say I've included myself in that in the past. I've been very weary about giving any sort of advice to people and just being like, just find your own way. Because I think at the end of the day, just find your own way. If you really love doing it, you'll find your way. It might take a bit of time. But yeah. Grim has imposter syndrome most of the time. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. You know, who was it? Was it Cakes when his game released and he was saying that he feels like he didn't deserve it or something like that? I think it was something along those lines. That's exactly how I felt about Suit for Hire doing well. And still to this day, it doesn't feel like any of that money is real, if that makes sense. Just doesn't, it's like, huh, that doesn't, like, that's not, what the fuck? The guy said this to me on Twitter. Good luck waiting 2 days for your renders. We're going to use AI or some shit. And I said, we're talking about real-time graphics. Who considers 16 milliseconds waiting? Good luck with getting 25090s. Don't get rage baited, Phoenix. They just want your attention. They legit just want your attention. I just laugh at them. I was in Cake's stream when you pressed the release button. He was constantly going like, this isn't going to work. It's going to fail. Looking at his game, you can tell it's a very well-made game that's very well thought out. It has a very good concept, very good idea, very strong. I don't know. I guess, no, I had an inkling of feeling that Suit for Hire would do well when the third person released, because I was like, this is fun. Like, I played it and I was like, it's fun. I think I'm having a fun time with it, but it definitely did a lot better than what I thought it would do. Tangy TD has a gross revenue of 345K. I assure you, once he gets to like 30%, 40% discount sales, he's easily going to get to the 1 million gross revenue. If he keeps working on it a little bit, adding a little bit of content, and just keeping up with the patches and stuff, so then people see that he's, you know, actively doing some stuff with it. Easily 1 mil gross. Easily. How did I feel when I pressed the release button for Suit for Hire? I felt a little weight off of my shoulders, but then all the bug reports started coming in and the crash reports, and then I got stressed out for like the first 3 weeks of the 1.0 release. So that was fun. Probably got a couple gray hairs from that moment. I think that's something I learned, is like, I'm definitely not going to, even though we tested a bunch, we still like there was still a bunch of things that were like fucked up. Yeah, for sure, Danny. I don't even know how many patches I made after 1.0 release. Like, how many did we do? I guess 14. No, more than 14. So this is all the same day. 3 days, 1 day after, another day after, the next day after that. Then the next day, I think I did some improvements to the AI a little bit, and also some balancing. 1 day later, fixed some stuff, and then also added some other features. Then a stability patch. Oh yeah, we just to this day, by the way, glass destruction is still not in yet, because it's still, I don't know, I think it's some problem with Niagara mesh stuff. Like, it still doesn't work. And then recently on February 8th, we added the photo mode and a few other things. I've been tempted to actually add a like added difficulty for enemies that like make them shoot instantly, and like really makes the game a lot harder, like almost like Hotline Miami-esque, and then maybe makes the melee enemies faster. I feel like that could be a fun little addition. I don't know if I would make it so it's like a completely separate difficulty, or like a button that like can be added to each difficulty. I don't know yet. Because I kind of want players to be able to play with that, with like armor and whatnot. We'll see. I don't know. Would I recommend early access? Here's my view on early access. And it has changed because of the way I think players perceive early access. I think the thing is, people will perceive early access as them having an early access to your product, which means the game better still be good. Even though you might be getting into early access, the game in its stage should be good. Because at the end of the day, that's the first impression. And if the first impression is bad, it's going to be very hard to get out of that first impression. That's what I learned from releasing Suit for Hire. Like, no matter what, even if it is deemed as early access, even if it's deemed as like you put this text that says, well, it's in progress, there's bugs, and people, I think a lot of players, I think some players will understand and they'll be very helpful. And submitting bug reports and stuff like that, but the meat of the game should be there. Suit for Hire was very lackluster on release. Like, that shit was wow. Normalized games releasing artless prototypes, I would play them all. Dude, I think on release for Suit for Hire, we had a couple levels that were still prototypes, if I remember. Like, it was basically prototype art, just with a couple like materials slapped on it. So, would I recommend early access? Consider it like you're still releasing almost your full game. Almost. When you stop the early access and officially release to Steam, put your game as a new release. Yes. I think I remember reading something about that whole process, like where visibility, the visibility difference between early access release and 1.0 release. I don't think it's a double release from what I remember reading. I think early access, Steam early access versus full release. Maybe I might be able to find the Steamworks section for this. Let's see here. Early access titles are treated the same as fully released titles. You'll still be able to run discounts, feature and promotions, and be organically recommended. However, you will not receive your full launch visibility until you are fully launched. Okay, yeah, so there's a difference between the two. So I think we'll start appearing in the new releases queue. Oh, so early access only appears in all new releases if you specifically go into that tab. Oh, in the early access section, this puts you into the actual new releases. Right, so this was one of the things I was thinking of. Yeah, it does get put into new releases, but early access does not. It gets put into the specific early access section. So it's not really a double release. You can kind of treat it like a double release. It's like two good opportunities for doing marketing pushes, right? People generally don't really read. I think people that understand a game as early access also still subconsciously have a certain viewpoint on it. At the end of the day, they're still going to it's either going to go one of two directions. They don't like your game or they do like your game. Even if they know that it's early access. Maybe they might try it in the future. However, there's probably most likely still a probability that they're going to refund your game. So that's something to consider. I think that's something to consider. So I would just say at the baseline, early access, still take it seriously, and still consider it almost like a full release. That's what I would recommend. This game, when I release this game into early access, I would hope we do enough playtesting and QA to determine any sort of big pitfalls, performance issues, etc. So that way we can just do a full release, and then I'll just keep adding content to it during full release. But we'll see. I don't know. Is Repo considered as early access right now, or peak? I think Repo is early access, right? Yeah. Phasmophobia is still in early access? That's crazy. That's crazy. That is kind of crazy. Crazy is that Escape from Tarkov only recently had its 1.0 release. Escape from Tarkov is a very interesting and odd game when you really start like looking at it at its core. But I think the thing that Escape from Tarkov does very well is it's able to capture that like stress and anxiety that comes from like going into a lobby, and then the atmosphere and whatnot. And the gunplay's not bad, not great either. The gunplay fits the type of game it's trying to be. Like, I'm sure some motherfuckers are being like, why doesn't this have like Counter-Strike spray patterns? It's like, shut the fuck up. That's not the same game. Did I ever play Tarkov? I played it for a little bit. I got sucked into it for a bit, but yeah, waiting in a lobby. I think they changed it now, but waiting in a lobby and seeing one screen and you literally can't fucking do anything else for like 15 minutes, it's just kind of not fun. I just wanted to do something else. I think it legit got to a point where I watched streams while waiting in a lobby. Am I good with VFX? Not really. Have any tips? I don't know. I wouldn't say so. Grim, would you say that Crimson Desert is a total ripoff from Crimson's Fantasy? Yes. As a matter of fact, I've already contacted my lawyers. That's a joke. That's a joke, by the way. It did look fun, Aquan, the rogue. It did look interesting. It did look very interesting. Looked like one of the better contenders in that kind of like zombie genre. I just want a tornado VFX, make a cone model, and then have a panning texture and specifically UV unwrap it. So it, yeah, yes. What am I using for mood boards? I got, Pure Ref. My game's realistic, though. I think the same would apply. You have a cone, and then you have things rotating in a thing. It would still probably be like a mix of models and then different things floating around and whatnot, and then using whatever that thing's called that kind of simulates a vortex or whatever in Niagara. Dude, we haven't done anything today. Well, that's not true. We did a little bit of determining what we want to do. I determined what I want to do. You know what? While we're here, let's just fix the collision on the bookshelves. And then kind of go from there. What's this app? Trello? Trello. I put the things in here, didn't I? Where are they? Oh, they're in a different layer. Okay, we need to make all of the collision for each of the all of the cupboards. Luckily, I think some of my tool will be able to help me out here. However, it's not taking into account the array. That's okay. And then this, while we could do a box, it's going to fill up the whole space. So I'm probably going to want to scale this down. I don't need the UVs for this. This should be pretty easy. Create box section. What the shit? What the hell? Wait, what? Why is it rotated like that? Why do you look like that? Okay, guess I'm just gonna create a box, I guess. I should be able to reuse this collision. Should be able to. Okay, then we need a box for the back end. Oh my god, it's angled. Why is it angled? Does that mean these are angled too? Why are those? Is the whole thing angled? Wait, hold on, hold on. Oh my god, the whole thing is angled. What the fuck is going on? Something weird is occurring. I think this one's good to go though. Let me see. Which one is this? This is bottom shelf 01. Bottom shelf 01. So we'll go to player collision. Right now, all of it is boxes. Ideally, what we should see when we re-import this is everything being separated. Very good. So then that way, now items can appear in those little spaces and little crevices and whatnot. Okay, next up. I probably want to select, I should be able to, I think there's a button to select. Okay, there we go. We can select the collision. I'm going to duplicate it and move it here. And then I'm going to select this part and then convert to box. We should be good. Delete this one, and then this one we'll just move it on up. Okay. Yeah, the thing is, I've never used Nanite, so I don't even know what the process is like for exporting something that's sub-D'd into a UE, because I've never done that before. I have never done that ever in my life. So for some reason that is bottom shelved 03? Oh, that's the one with the thing. Okay, let's see if that looks good. Looks good. Okay, we got these middle shelves we need to do now. So let me select the collision from this one. We'll move it along here. And then we'll modify this so this doesn't have a wall. These pieces are all going to be very different. This piece is going to be in the middle. Again, for some reason, all of the... I don't know why that happened. It, like, broke the whole thing, which is not cool. Not cool, man. And then we can select all of these here. Move these in. And then we're going to scale these out. Of course, one side, for some reason, longer than the other. I don't know if that's intended. I don't think you have to, you shouldn't have to apply your sub-D. That would be a very, very destructive workflow if need be. You should have a way when you're in export to, here's my, I'm thinking this probably a custom, way to export it. Although I have exported high polys without any issues, so I don't really know. I don't know. I doth not knoweth the answer to this. All right. Now we just have to select all of these. Shit. Let's do this. Increment. Then we can select all of our collision. Then we can move the increment back here. We can select the mesh and then convert to box. And now we're good. Okay. Let's export that one. So now these are these mid pieces. There we go. There was another cube that was still there for some reason. All good. Okay, cool. So now we got collision for that piece. What are we missing? The top shelves. All right. So let's go ahead and select the collision, duplicate. This is cool, man. The new tools for this plugin are pretty awesome. You know what? Actually, before I deselect these, let's apply this. So then that way I don't have to do that whole deselect thing later. Everything is in the same spot, except for the fact that there is one less here. Okay, and then we'll select all of that, move that down. Which plugin? This is the Unreal Engine Assets Exporter by Xavier. Very, very cool. Very cool. He like edited all this collision section, and it just makes like creating custom collision for objects that much easier. It's so much easier. And then also exporting modular assets is super easy because I don't have to move it into place. It automatically does it for me. It's super sick. I think that is everything. I will say, I do think we need to improve the collision of the chandeliers. Because it kind of gets in the way of the player, and it's not a fun time. So I'm actually thinking we should do like a capsule collision. That's like much smaller. I don't know why it's not centered. Yeah, close enough. I think it's fine. Turns 30 degrees rapidly. How do I even code that? Good luck doing turning animations. You're gonna have a fun time with that. Good luck with that. You're gonna have a good time with that. Trust me. It's gonna be a good time. Xavier Liu. You'll probably find it on GitHub. You'll find it on GitHub. Here, actually, I should be able to open the GitHub page, and I can post it in chat for you guys. There you go. Okay, so apparently the one... Oh, that's because... Okay, so this one's not great because we're using the mesh as the collision. It's not horrible, but it's not great either. All right, well, that does mean now items will spawn in the cabinets where I placed a bunch of different little item spawners. So let's see if we can spot any items in the cabinets, or if all of the item spawns were taken up. There's a rat in here already? That's fucking crazy. How is there a rat infestation here? Are even items... No, the sponge is small enough to fit in the... Oh, see, look at that coal. Nice. Nice. There's rats in chat as well. They are everywhere. What the hell? Oh, look at that. There's an item in here too. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're so ready. Cool. Okay. Bandages. Cool. Whoops. Whoops, sorry. Oh, he's dead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I kinda did, but I didn't mean... not really. I gotta fix the UVs in here. Wait, can I not walk in anymore? Wait, what the hell? This used to be part of the mechanic. Why is it that we can't walk in anymore? Hey! Hey, wait a second. The whole point was being able to sneak into the cupboard. Why is it that I can no longer sneak into the cupboard? Show collision pawn. Oh. Very weird. Oh, now I fit. What? What? Like, I know we put that little thing there, but... Dude, the fucking door sounds ridiculous. Stop it! Stop making that noise! Oh, interesting. Those books have a much larger collision than they're supposed to. I just realized. The door sounds like a mosquito and I hate it. Alright, I don't know what happened, but I can no longer fit through the door. I don't know what I did, but it's not working the way I want it to. Rubber ducky, my friend. Watch, there's gonna be a guy over here. Oh, look at that. Huh. Another rubber ducky for the road. I do have to make the icon system for the bottom. You know what's really funny? Lethal Company, I think to this day, still does not have icons for its items. And I think it got to the point where the developer's like, I don't think anybody cares, so I'm just not going to do it. I think that's what happened. They're all like, the icon's just like a gear. It's like a little, I bet you that was like a temp developer icon. But then he just released it as is, and he's like, whatever. Who cares? The green smileys, they're just like in the default engine content, so I'm like, ah, fuck it, I'll just use this. I just use whatever I have. Like, I think the sponge is my face. Nope, it's the red guy. It's really dark in here, hold on. It's gonna get to a point where we just have so many items that I forget, like, most of them. What's this? What's this green face? That just clipped through the world. Yeah, we're gonna have to fix that. I don't know why that's happening. That's not cool. That is not cool. Rat King AI almost finished, I presume. We do not have a Rat King. We do not have a Rat King. However, the rat system is all good to go now. The rat system is all good to go. I think we gotta... Yeah, we gotta... Yep. So we can... Once we eliminate the rats... I'm saying eliminate, because it's a lot kinder. Then it's considered as complete, which it just... considered complete. I don't know what happened to the other rats. What's that thing to the left of the door? You mean this? I haven't worked on it yet. This is the employee handbook. The employee handbook. There's a 2 in the train, so if you need help with the game, that'll kind of have some cool stuff in it. Yeah. Got a lot of junk in here. There's a lot of junk in here. Whoa, shit. All right, anyways. Uh, I'll be back tomorrow. I got a call at 5 again. And I kind of just want to eat something. Just chill for the next hour. Very short stream. Tomorrow I shouldn't have another call. I'm gonna like refuse to do another call because I can't listen. Motherfuckers. What was that thing that just passed by? Did you guys see that shit? Yeah. I'm feeling really good about the game design in terms of what we're going to do with the changes to this. I feel pretty good about it. The only thing I don't like about it is it's going to be very samey to the other games, just like a quota and shit. I feel like it just works better than a timer. The timer is not it. The timer does not feel fulfilling at all. So we're going to change that, I think. We're 100% going to change that. I don't know when we'll change it. Maybe not tomorrow. We didn't do too much today, but that's okay. That's fine. Some days, you know, we don't need to have a crazy amount of progress. We at least figured out what we would do for the quota. So, yes. Good stream, good sir. Have a burrito? Dude, that could be awesome. Add a dog, please. A killer dog? Killer dog. Killer dog that bites your head off. I want to add a monster that if you look at it too long, your eyes explode. That'd be awesome. Anyways, see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for looking, chat, and sticking around. Thank you. And also, check out Suit for Hire, 50% off on Steam for the spring sale. Forgot what season it was. 50% off. Check it out. There's also the Jackal and Suit for Hire bundle now. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. When I start wearing Sennheiser cans, brother, I've been wearing these headphones for like years now. Very good headphones, very, very comfortable. 50% off. I think our highest discount yet. I think. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. Goodbye. See you tomorrow. Peace out.